What's a belief you've changed your mind on?
That we shouldn't look more at stocks that are sub $25, because given this interest rate, and this is only for the Trump administration, they're going to give you a scenario with interest rates, and because now it's crazy. Like even if you take SanDisk and Micron, right? The big companies have found a way to get meme-like gains out of the market, so the meme stocks don't even matter. So with that being said, I used to have a notion that I wouldn't look at a stock below a certain price threshold. That still applies if it's under $10, but some sub $25 stocks we should look at because they can probably give us a 400 or 500% return. I would look at them as a swing trade, not a 5 to 10 year hold. But the notion of sub $25 stocks being of no value is something that I've changed my mind on for when Trump is in office.
All right, I'm gonna be very specific with this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a belief that I changed my mind on. If you've been on Market Mondays, day one, put some fires in the chat, please.
No, you're not going to do this. No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah. I'm stepping to the front of the congregation. Wait. Listen.
Oh my God.
For years.
Don't do this.
I mean, we got to do it. For years, when we talked about this streaming situation, maybe a few years, not that many, but I said there was a company that could potentially challenge the number one spot of Netflix. And that company was Disney. I no longer believe that. Disney, Disney, and not all of Disney, right? The parks have rebounded. Licensing has rebounded.
Your license on fire.
The streaming has not worked out the way that we thought it would. The ESPN fiasco didn't work out the way that we thought it would. I looked at a chart. I was watching this clip on Instagram, and they put out the 30-year history of the S&P and the 30-year history of Disney. Mm-hmm. And there was no metric, 30-year, 20-year, 15, 10-year, that Disney has outperformed the S&P.
That's insane, bro.
So it begs the question, should Disney have gone into streaming? Or should it have just stuck with licensing their IP out to streamers and just taken that revenue and perhaps expanded in other areas? It's a good question. I understand why they went into it because of the content that they had and seeing that that's where it was headed. But I don't think that it will be the number two. It is now in terms of subscribership, but that hasn't grown over the past couple of quarters. So I've changed my mind on thinking that it could potentially be number one. I no longer think that. I think it'll settle in here, and they'll try to figure out who the next CEO is going to be. I took it out the portfolio maybe 2 years ago, but the idea of it becoming number one in this near future, I don't see it. So I've changed my mind on that.
Rest in peace, Bob Iger. Not literally, but
not literally.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rashad, what about you?
I think it's a situation of not necessarily like changed my mind, but a lot of times, especially when you first teach people about stocks, a common thing is to say invest in companies that you know and use. Mm-hmm. That's even Warren Buffett's strategy, and obviously, he's a legend. But it's not always necessarily the best way to go about it because one of the common things is Nike, and that hasn't worked out. So I think instead of saying, I think you could still keep it simple for people, but instead of saying invest in the companies that you use every day, I think invest in the companies that you think the world needs. Mm-hmm. So that's different because I could wear Nikes every single day, but the world doesn't need Nike. If Nike disappeared today, that means more people just going to buy Adidas or Reebok. It's not like they're not providing a service that could potentially collapse the financial system or could potentially collapse the agricultural system or could potentially collapse the political system or could potentially collapse the environmental system. They're not, right? And that's why I love QQQ, Invest with Invesco, because all of those tech companies is not just investing in tech for the sake of it. Like the vast majority of those companies are providing services that if they went away today, the world would be in a
It'd be
very
worse.
different place. Like we talked about Apple a lot, but if we take every Apple product away from today, it's gonna have a major impact on the world. Of course, chips, when you talk about Nvidia and TSM and Eli Lilly, when you talk about the healthcare industry, and that's the biggest industry in the world as far as America. We spend more money on healthcare than any other industry. So I think looking at it from that standpoint, it's easier to kind of relay, to talk to anybody, but especially people that have never invested before. It may not be as simple as just telling somebody, if you brush your teeth with Colgate, look, buy Colgate. Like it's not as simple as that, but it's still relatively easy to understand. But I think that's a little misleading when you say invest in companies that you know and you love, because you could love a bad company.
For sure. Yep. Just like you can be in love with a bad person and not let it go. You gotta let this shit go.
Yeah.
Target, another example.
Tim Cook bought 1 million shares.
Yeah, exactly. You go to Target every day.
Yeah. Even though y'all shouldn't be. But some of y'all be in Target still.
Don't let Jamal Bryant Palantir.
No. Peloton. That's
Peloton.
Peloton. Mike, we're not even going to bring up the Peloton.
Peloton.
We're just going to let that go. And we're going to continue to use the device.
You Peloton.
Yo, Tim Cook bought 1 million shares at Nike, man.
Yeah, he on the board.
I know. They didn't say that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the idea of doing the things you like, investing in things you like, is the idea of somebody who has never heard of stocks. What are the things, and introducing them to companies? But the necessity is the most important thing.
Yes. And if you'd ever want to have to guess what stocks to buy, which ones are good or bad, go to ianinvest.com and join Red Panda Stock Club. I give you 3 prices for every stock. Quick entry price, swing trade, and a low to bold price. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. But if you never have to worry about which companies to buy and want to be financially free, come join Red Panda Stock Club.
ianinvest.com, Red Panda Rebellion.